What's up, YouTube? This is Andy with Andy's Dizzy Vlogs. I just left school. I think this is my third video making now after school. And remember the last class I had was not great. This class was better, but it's almost as if the symptoms haven't changed. I just changed how I reacted to them, which is fine, I guess, but that's not the goal. I don't want to learn how to live with whatever the feeling is that I feel when I'm experiencing whatever this is. But I can say for sure that when I am, so take for example today, I wish I could get video of the spaces, the environment that I'm in, that I'm talking about, but it's in my school and we just got dismissed and I didn't feel like walking around the school and videotaping, and also I don't have the time to edit clips together. I just don't feel like putting forth all the effort, but I'll just explain it. So like, depending on the day, we can have a lot of the time that is spent in a classroom, which is a typical classroom, chairs, desks, and a teacher. And in that environment, I'm fine. I can sit there, I can listen and learn. I don't know if it's just the classroom environment that makes me tired. That could just be normal, like high school. You're tired because you're just sitting there and listening, and you know, you're in a climate controlled environment, you're comfortable sitting in a chair, and you just get tired. So I don't think that necessarily has anything to do with any medication I'm on per se. And I generally feel pretty good. But then it's a different story when we go out into any of the labs or workshops. So we have four different areas, I would say, or five, actually six, but let's just call them three different main facilities outside of the classroom. One is a weld shop, which we don't go in anymore because we finished that part of the curriculum. We have a HVAC side, and we have a piping side, and like the mechanical room side. So that, like, mechanical room, that lab, piping side, and then the HVAC side are the two main labs that we'll go in and out of depending on what we're learning and what class we're taking. Right now, we're doing HVAC for one of my classes, so we spent a couple hours in the HVAC room, and I don't know if it is the lights or the amount of things in front of my vision. And so like when I'm in that room, it's like as soon as I walk through the threshold of that door, I immediately get more, and again, I really am hesitating to call it dizziness, because it's not dizziness, it's a man, and I don't even think I want to call it lightheadedness, But those are the two closest things I can that resemble what I'm feeling. But they're not those things. It's like a combination of being lightheaded, dizzy, but not spinning dizzy, like a can't find my balance dizzy, and then also a combination of like a very faint brain freeze in the center of your brain, and then also in there is like this extreme heightened sense of awareness, of your spatial awareness, to where like you are just like hyper aware of all the things around you, and it all makes you really uncomfortable. So yeah, I don't know what it is, because like when I'm at work, there's always this underlying, what I assume is triple PD. I don't know, just like, it's the feeling that I just described, but only to a lesser degree. But then certain things, like certain rooms, like my kitchen, the room that I just described, they all like ramp up those symptoms, like very noticeably ramp them up. And I'm talking about simply walking into a room and my symptoms increase like clockwork. And it's not psychological, because I don't have a fear of these rooms. It's not like I think like, oh no, this bad thing happened to me when I was in this room before, so now like I have an association to it. That's happened to me with a lot of things, like medications, for example. And so I have to like actively like work to change those things with like having negative emotion towards, say, antidepressants, because I had one bad experience or two bad experiences in the past. It's not like that with these different rooms that I'm explaining increased my anxiety. So it's not like this psychological issue where I'm just getting anxiety. That's not it. There's something physically going on in the room itself that causes my symptoms to increase, because when I leave the room, they decrease. And again, I'm not afraid of the room, and I'm not afraid of it happening. It's just like, of course I don't want to feel like that, but I'm not afraid of it. And it makes it incredibly difficult for me to concentrate. And that's what literally, like, I'm there to learn. And not only am I there to learn, but we're learning brand new things that I've never seen before. A lot of people that I work with that are in this apprenticeship with me, they work on cars for fun. They grew up working on dirt bikes. I couldn't tell you what a carburetor looks like. You know what I mean? Like, I maybe could, but like, I'm just saying, like, very basic stuff about cars, engines, electric motors, wiring stuff in the house. I never grew up doing that kind of stuff. And a lot of the people that are in these classes with me in this profession, that they have like a background in tinkering with stuff and like having a mechanical interest. That isn't who I am or was. So all these things I'm learning are like brand spanking new. So I really, really have to focus and take a lot of information in and learn a lot quickly. And when you walk into a room, so for example, we were like tasked with learning how to charge these lines with pressure gauges to an AC system, and learning how to take measurements with voltages, with an amp meter, taking pressure, temperature readings, knowing all of the parts of the AC unit, how they work, what they do, what's the high temperature, low pressure side, the high temp, high pressure side, and the low temp, low pressure side. Like, all of these things are brand new to me, but I'm having to learn all of this while feeling like I'm slightly floating above my head, like I'm got this Spider-Man sixth sense, the Spidey sense. And I also kind of have like someone's just kind of lightly squeezing my head, like with a cold hand, and I just feel like a little lightheaded. And I really wish there was an English word for this feeling, because it's really, really, really annoying. And I know I've said that probably in every video, but it's really the truth. Like, there's things that are going on between your vestibular system that we don't have an English word for. The feeling that you get is just indescribable. So anyways, I'm feeling this bizarre, it's not bizarre to me anymore, because I've been living with it for 2.5 years, or however long it's been. But, you know, I'm experiencing this strange sensation, and I'm trying to do, I literally am, like, performing all of these job tasks, because we're getting to experiment and learn firsthand how to do certain things, and I'm doing it, like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, but it makes everything exponentially more difficult. So, all of that to say is, there is a huge difference between different environmental settings and how I interact, or how I respond in terms of my symptoms. I don't know why or what things in those specific environments cause the increase or decrease change of symptoms. I don't understand it. The only correlations I can think of are the amount of things in each particular room. How do I say that better? I don't know. Because I was going to say the amount of stuff crammed into an area compared to its size. So, like, if there's a whole bunch of stuff in one room and there's, like, barely room to walk. But then again, yesterday at work, we had to go into this one building, and the building is like, I guess, just imagine like a warehouse, you know, like, imagine if like Lowe's or Home Depot was mostly empty besides shelves and some machines along the wall. So it's a huge room, huge ceilings, really big, spacious. Even when I walked into a room like that and there was nothing around me hardly, I still felt that change of state where I'm all of a sudden like lightheaded and, you know, just feel ungrounded, like I'm not inside my body. So it's not the proximity of things to me, because that room was mostly empty with like CNC machines along the perimeter and some other, you know, like welding booths on the side. But, you know, it was still very spacious, and it just doesn't make any sense, you know. You're trying to like draw correlations so you can better understand what's causing it. but it doesn't seem like there's a lot of continuity between my environment and my symptoms. I mean, there's continuity in the sense that it's predictable, but I don't know what in that environment is causing the predictive outcome of being more dizzy and lightheaded and stuff. It's just, I don't know. But the room that I was in today, imagine like cabinets is not the right word. There's like 8 stations, like 8 units of these, I'll just call them stations, where they have basically an AC unit wired up, and it has all the external components, the evaporator and the condenser and all of the different parts, so that we can work on it and learn it. So there's 8 of those, or roughly 8 of them, and we walk in, and each station, and it's front and back, so there's 2 people on one side and 2 people on the other working on the other side on 2 different machines, and there's 8 stations like that. So each station has 4 people at it, so we're kind of all huddled around these machines, these AC units, so I could kind of correlate that to standing in my kitchen when like there's cabinets real close to my face. And also there was another room in my apprenticeship school. There was another room where every time I walked up to this cabinet, my symptoms would increase, like a lot. And I would have to stand there and like look for stuff. And I was like 5 times more lightheaded and dizzy and all that stuff. So I think it has something to do with like your eyes like not focused on something, or like your eyes not being able to ground yourself to where your feet are, because it's like your vision is being blocked and you can't see like the ground that you're on. Maybe that has something to do with it, but then again, that doesn't explain the giant room that I was in that causes. And then there's just in general, like right now I'm driving, I always feel the most normal when I'm driving. Like when I was sitting in the classroom, I felt pretty normal. If I felt like how I am now and how I am when I sit in the classroom, I would be like light years ahead of where I am most of the day. Because most of the day I'm walking around, performing my job duties, carrying stuff. I don't know. Honestly, I don't think it has anything to do with like exerting like cardiovascular exercise. I think it has more to do with my eyes like inputting too much stimuli, and the more I walk, the more stimuli my brain has to process. And when I'm in an area where I'm in close proximity to a lot of things, I think it's just like stimulation overload. So I don't know. I'm thinking out loud. These are things that like I think about all the time. But to compare my day at school to my last 2 videos, I don't remember exactly, but I know one of my videos, I think it was my last class, was really bad. I had like a borderline panic attack, which I think was from the venlafaxine. And I also got like, that day I got real lightheaded and like had a flash where I almost felt like I was gonna faint. But of course I never do. Like I always feel like I'm going to, but I never do. And I never have. So I would say today was much better than my last video of my class. However, it's still not acceptable. Like the way I felt when we were in the lab doing hands-on work, that I don't want to feel like that every time I'm in someone's house, or every time it's my life, it's my life, and I am not accepting that is going to be the rest of my life, because it's bearable to an extent. But for example, like, I could not feel like that and deal with a high stress situation where, for example, maybe I'm a foreman or a position with even more responsibility. I would never ever feel comfortable performing things like that with more responsibility when I feel like this. And there's even sometimes, don't know why, like, again, driving, I always feel the most normal, but there are times that don't make sense to me. So like the other day, and I think I talked about this in my last video, we were performing this job task where basically had to connect. We took it apart first, which we did several days prior, but we made a new piece, a new piping section, and it was welded out, and then we had to reconnect everything. Well, to reconnect it, I had to get my harness on, and I had to stand out. Basically, I had to crawl over the railing of the permanent structure, and then I had to stand on this like 20-foot tall tank that was, I don't know, 8 feet across, like in diameter, and it was round on the top, and there were like 3 different pieces of piping coming out the top. So I'm standing on the top of it, and it's got like a cage, like a rectangle frame around it holding it, so you could pick it up and move it. I mean, this thing is big. And I'm standing on top of it, and I have to connect these 2 pieces of pipe together. But I'm moving a lot, because I got a torque wrench, I got another wrench, and we're torquing it up to, I forget, 210 pounds, foot-pounds of torque. And that tank is not filled with anything, so it's only being held by these 2 large bolts, but they're only on opposite sides of each other. What I mean is, there aren't 2 bolts here and 2 bolts here. So if you just have 2 bolts here, it's gonna allow it to flex in one axis. Like, it can't flex like this, because that's where the bolts are, but it can flex this way. So I'm standing on the top of this, and I'm just feeling all of this tank move on me. And it didn't bother me during the time I was doing it. And it was moving under my feet while I'm up here doing work and focusing on work. And I was totally aware of it shifting and moving all under my feet. And I was like a little nervous going out there, because I thought, oh, this is gonna really mess with me. And it didn't. However, when I got home later, then I felt real messed up, and I was like totally drained and exhausted, and it just wiped me out, and I felt like a real heady, floaty, all of that crap that I just talked about, but like very intensely. And so I think I just overdid it. I'm pretty sure that's what my last YouTube video was titled. I overdid it at work, something like that. So I don't really understand like what the cause is. Sometimes it's literally just walking 2 miles at the track. Sometimes I can be up on a giant tank while it's like moving like crazy under my feet and it not bother me until 6 hours later. I could sit in a classroom and be pretty much normal. I could drive my car and be pretty much normal. But then I can walk into a giant room and get all whacked out. I can walk into a classroom and be real close to stuff and be all whacked out. And then I can be in my kitchen, which seems to be also another place that pretty much always makes me feel whacked out. So that's one of the most frustrating things about this is that, well, maybe not the most frustrating, but one of them is that it just makes no sense. Like, it's not like it's not like a hot stove where you can touch it and be like, that's what caused my hand to hurt. Just don't do that anymore and I'll be fine. I wish there was like a specific cause, because it's so difficult to find a solution. But yeah, I don't know. Today in school was not really like a bad day by any means. I had a mostly good day, besides it being boring and me being tired. But like, I had some laughs with friends and learned a lot. But at the same time, there were large portions of my day where I just felt totally outside of myself. I think that's really like the best description, is like combination of lightheadedness, floatiness, and like kind of being outside of yourself, which I suppose if you've never felt, you wouldn't understand. But that's what it feels like, and it's just like really annoying, really annoying, because you don't feel like you act like you, and people don't know you don't feel like you, but you don't feel like you. That's the really frustrating thing, is that people just assume you're fine, but like internally you're just in another world that is not fun to be in, and you don't know why you're in that world, and you don't know how to get out of that world. You just float in between worlds, and one is your own and one is somewhere else, and it makes you feel like someone else. So I don't know what I'm going to title this video, because I don't know what I just talked about. I'm really tired now. I have to drive way past my house today. I actually went to school and I wasn't supposed to. I screwed up my days, because it doesn't matter, but I wasn't supposed to go today and I did, and it was fine, but kind of screwed me up. So now I'm gonna go get my hair cut for a wedding that I have coming up. And since I work 6 days a week, this is the only day that I can squeeze to get my hair cut before the wedding, so I'm gonna go do that. But I'm like now, like in the past 10 minutes, I've been getting exponentially more and more tired. So anyways, yeah, I don't know what it is that's causing any of it. As far as the venlafaxine goes, I don't know. I'm up to, what is it, 26? I don't know. I'm too tired to do math right now, but I think it's 37 milligrams a day. And I don't think anything's gotten better. I still feel that same underlying stuff that I feel pretty much all day. I still feel nothing has changed. Let's just say that I thought that I was starting to feel better like the second week, and now I feel like I've just reverted back to how I was before I started taking it. Like, I don't think I notice anything. Except I'm tired a lot. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I were to work a normal 40-hour week, if I would have more energy. Probably would. But I still, like, it pisses me off because I feel like I'm so much older. I feel like my body feels so much older than it really is. Like, I don't think a typical 34-year-old should be this tired, even working the amount of hours I work. Like, I work with 60-year-olds who have more energy than me, and I just am like, and I don't mean like strength, I mean like I just feel like I'm falling asleep right now, and it's only 4 o'clock. And I don't use caffeine, so it's not like I'm crashing or anything. I just think it's like my brain is just being used too much for things that it's not supposed to be used for. Like, it's just faulty. And as of now, I mean, if I'm being real, I want to be optimistic, but being realistic with myself, I don't think the venlafaxine has done anything yet. Just looking at the past couple days, like, don't really feel like it's helped my symptoms, especially being in that room for the last couple hours. I just felt like totally out of myself and totally, and also, like, when you feel like that, I think I already said this, but like, it is so hard to learn when you feel like you're playing a video game of yourself. It's just very strange. I'm gonna turn on some like heavy metal because I'm like falling asleep. And that's like the other thing that really pisses me off is, like, I want, part of being happy is not feeling like all these crazy symptoms, but B, like, you can't just be exhausted all the time, and I'm exhausted all the time. Maybe I can get like the first 5 hours of the day and I'm like, I'm good, but then after that, like, I hit a wall. And I get 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night, and this week I took off from the gym because Sunday I didn't feel very good. It's weird. I think I felt pretty good all day Saturday. Not perfect, but like, that was a pretty good day. And then Sunday and Monday sucked. And this whole week has kind of sucked. Like, it's just not been that great. And I don't get it. Just exhausted all the time. I have my symptoms most of the day to different degrees of severity. Anyways, I'm gonna stop talking because I think I'm putting myself to sleep, and I'm almost to my haircut. But I don't know what this video is about. I guess I just wanted to do a video just as a comparison to my previous days I shot videos when I was coming back from school. It's just, I guess, a good indicator for me to look back on and to gauge where I'm at, So I don't know. Also, once I'm done with my haircut, hopefully I'm gonna film a video for a, please don't be mad if I say this or if I remembered this wrong, but I think it's Sarah C, I think is her username, or his, I'm not sure. Mentioned that, I'm just gonna say that it's a girl. I'm sorry. I'm so tired. Oh my goodness. She said she was looking forward to me making the video about the string exercises, and she said that she actually had man, that's sunbright. She already made some strings, and so yeah, I told her that I would try to do that today. So hopefully I get home from this haircut in a good time, and that should only be like a 5-minute video, because I'm literally just going to demonstrate what I do. But I said I would upload it, so I will do that hopefully later when I get home. So, and I'll have a new haircut. So, alright, well, until then, if you're not thriving, keep trying. Hopefully you're not as tired as me, and you're thriving a lot more. But until then, take care, be safe. I'll see you on the next one. Later.